The 10th of August, 2025. 6:30 p.m. You and the others had a party the night before where Chelsea and Bradley Lee had an argument shortly before Bradley left. Chelsea upset him, making him storm out of the hotel early this morning. During the day, you, Emily and Jessica tan downstairs at the pools. When coming upstairs to ask Chelsea if she's done getting ready, you overhear her and Arno talking in the hotel. Chelsea tells Arno she's sorry for everything, and that she dumped Bradley Lee. Arno asks why she left Bradley. Chelsea cries and tells Arno she was trying to use Bradley to get over him. She tells Arno she's still in love with him. You peep to find an empathetic Arno hugging her as she cries against his chest. Chelsea tells Arno you'll only hurt him, and that too many guys are after you. Arno ignores her warnings as he comforts her. You feel angry as you quietly leave the hotel. Later, you and Arno didn't speak about neither Bradley Lee nor the conversation with Chelsea. He asked why you're so quiet, but you told him you had a headache. Arno gently pulled at your hand as he asked you to speak to him, but you leave with Emily before he may finish. Emily calls her DJ friend, who as you two board a party bus to his next gig. The DJ, whose name is Duncan, offers you drinks. The party bus is filled with fellow rich kids and a few older tourists trying to get to Budva Bay. Emily drinks too much and vomits outside the party bus window. You ask Duncan if he may ask the driver to turn the bus around. He asks what's the matter. You tell him your boyfriend must be looking for you. Emily tells Duncan to ignore your request before asking why you're cock-blocking yourself. She tells you Duncan wants you big time, but you snap and tell her you don't want another guy. Emily asks if you're really able to compete with Chelsea and Arno's history. You cry in the seat as the party bus arrives at the bay. Emily has sobered up. She asks you to join her, Duncan and the others on the luxury ship. You say it's okay as you try to call Arno again. Arno's phone rings, with no answer. At the boarding port, you think about Chelsea, and decide to join Duncan, Emily, and the others on the luxury ship. The luxury ship is extremely beautiful and expensive. You and Emily get dinner as Duncan performs his set at the private club area. You tell Emily you never ever expected this of Chelsea, despite everything. You tell Emily Chelsea will do anything for attention and never cared for Arno. The 11th of August, 1:34 a.m. You and Emily had fallen asleep in Duncan's suite. You wake up and walk on the dock. Duncan comes up to join you. He brings you white-hot chocolate and sits beside you. You tell Duncan you appreciate the overnight trip, but that you and Emily have to get back to the hotel. Duncan frowns. He says he thought you and Emily were heading to Croatia with him. He points to the lit-up coast in the distance. Duncan tells you he could organize a way back for you once you're on shore. You thank him, feeling a bit nervous. You feel a bit overwhelmed from everything, but Duncan cheers you up. You and Duncan talk about his life traveling Europe to DJ at exclusive lounges. You find out Duncan was heir to his father's multi-million auto insurance company. But when he got expelled from his all-boys school for drinking on the Derby Day, his father quickly put him to work as an intern. As an intern at the family company, Duncan was found doing coke in the bathroom between meetings. Duncan's father was forced to have him leave the company. Now, Duncan does his rounds as a DJ in between lounging around back home. Despite Duncan's history, you feel he's a genuine guy with a gentle heart. Duncan gives you his jacket as his long fingers stroke your back. You tell him you have a boyfriend. He says he understands and wouldn't make a move on you. He then asks if he's your type and you lie and tell him no. Duncan grins and says Arno is blessed. You both sit in silence. Duncan asks you to stay in Europe, but you say you really can't. Duncan nods, his soft eyes making you feel nervous in his presence. He asks what would make you consider giving him a chance. Your mind drifts to Chelsea, who is still hooked on Arno. You ask if he may please pursue Chelsea, so that she may leave both you and Arno alone. Duncan says you'd be taking advantage of his feelings for you. You agree, your hopeful expression fading. Duncan thinks for a few moments. He hesitates, but asks if it will make you happy. You gently touch his hand and say it will. Duncan's green eyes light up before he agrees. Duncan stares at you. Do I at least get a kiss? For all of my efforts, Duncan asks you softly. You shake your head as you stroke his long palms. He nods, disappointed. You and Duncan stare out at the nearing Croatian coast. It's quiet and the air is cool. You quietly turn to Duncan and plant a soft kiss on his lips. Duncan breathes in your scent before gently kissing you back. His lips are warm and soft. You feel your heart beat loudly as his long fingers trace your neck. But you pull away, and tell him that's the only payment you'll give him. He nods and tells you he'll fly back to town to pursue Chelsea after his last set. The 11th of August, 2025. 9:27 a.m. The sun is bright on the coast as you guys reach the Croatian shore. Arno had called you earlier, and you explained you'd be in Croatia. He says he'll get a friend's helicopter back in Budva, and that he'll get you there. Duncan hugs Emily and you, and tells you he'll see you soon. As you and Emily stroll across the harbor, you see the rented helicopter. You find Arno laughing with Jonah. Arno takes off his pilot headphones and hops out to speak to you. Arno hugs you before asking where you've been. You tell him you were out but never expected to end up on the ship. Arno says that's ridiculous and tells you he couldn't sleep. You tell him you asked Emily's friends to turn the party bus around, but they refused. Arno says he was worried sick. You tell him it won't happen again. Arno nods and gives you a kiss. You and Arno get into the helicopter to fly back to Budva. The 11th of August, 9:30 p.m. At the bar on the charter jet, Chelsea comes to speak to you privately. She gently tells you Arno was worried about you. You say you know, and asks if everything is okay. She looks down and says she and Arno might get back together. You hide your frustration and asks if Arno said that. Chelsea says her and Arno can't stay away from each other, and that it'll be best if you just let them work on their issues. You tell Chelsea there weren't any issues to work on. You say she just wants Arno because you're with Arno. Chelsea says she doesn't want to fight. She tells you to give Arno just 2 days before he confesses that he still cares for her. Chelsea says she'll see you in first class and walks off.